The Donnell NTW-20 is a 5-star RF that's available from normal and heavy production, having a timer of 4 hours and 45 minutes, or drops from the stage 8-4E, either from Defeating Dreamer or Destroyer. The NTW-20 was designed by Tony Neophytou, co-designer of the Neosted NS-2000 combat shotgun, possibly making NS-2000 and NTW-20 half-sisters, in August 1945 under the Aerotech name. Within 4.5 months, a working prototype was ready for testing. The quick production of a prototype was thanks in part to Neophytou's experience in recoil reduction systems, which he obtained from working on helicopter turret systems. The development was also hastened as the prototype used the existing bolt, barrel, and barrel extension from the Vector GA1 autocannon. The NTW-20 was later produced by Donnell Land Systems in 20 by 110mm and 20 by 82mm versions, later introducing a 14.5 by 114mm variant. The rifle was adopted by the South African National Defence Force in 1998. The 20 by 82mm variant can be switched to the 14.5 by 114mm variant simply by switching the barrel and bolt. As an anti-material rifle, i.e. a rifle specifically for use against enemy equipment and vehicles, the NTW-20's intended use is to be used against parked aircraft, telecom masts, power lines, missile sites, radar installations, refineries, satellite dishes, gun emplacements, bunkers, ground vehicles, lightly armored track vehicles, ordnance disposal, counter-sniping, and personnel. The NTW-20 can be disassembled and packed into 2 backpacks for ease of carrying. The magazine protrudes from the left side, and the muzzle brake absorbs 50 to 60% of the recoil. The NTW-20 is a bolt-action recoiling barrel anti-material rifle, which fires either the 20 by 82mm, 20 by 110mm Hispano, or the 14.5 by 114mm cartridge from a 3-round detachable box magazine, or is a single shot if using the 20 by 110mm Hispano round, out to a range of 1500 meters, 1800 meters, or 2300 meters for the 20 by 82, 20 by 110, and 14.5 by 114 cartridges, respectively. In her base character art drawn by Ron, NTW-20 wears a black sailor-style school uniform with a blue ribbon around her neck, a white, pink, and black checkerboarded top cover, black skirt with a pink line, opaque black tights, steel knee pads, black leather loafers, an earpiece in her right ear, tactical gloves, and a pink wedge. She holds her NTW-20 with her right hand on the grip and finger off the trigger, while her left hand is near the base of the barrel with the bipod deployed. Most of the barrel is cut off in the art. In her voice lines, voiced by Matsuzaki Rei, NTW is very aloof.
支援任務なら私に任せろ。やっとスナイパーの出番か。もう行くのか？任せてくれ。私の後ろに立たないでもらえるか。誰だ？なんだ、指揮官か。気軽に触ると怪我をするぞ。狙撃なミッションなら任せろ。草原を疾走する豹であろうが、一撃で仕留めてやる。
Like some RFs, NTW-20's main role is dealing a large amount of damage to the nearest target. Her single tile only affects 1 HG, reducing their skill cooldown by 18%. She's best positioned on tile 1, 4, or 7. At level 10, NTW-20's first skill, Interdiction Shot, begins charging after her skill cooldown ends, getting 1 charge a second to a max of 7. When procced, she aims for 1.5 seconds, then deals 3.4 to 8 times damage to the nearest enemy, based on the number of stacks accumulated. All stacks are used on use. This has an 8-second ICD and 9-second NCD. Without crits or equips, she can do 561 to 1320 damage. Without equips, but with crits, she can do 842 to 1980 damage. When fully linked, enhanced, and at level 100, base NTW-20 has 93 HP per link for a total of 465, consumes 55 ammo and 90 rations, deals 165 damage, the highest of any T-Doll, let alone RF T-Dolls, Has 29 evasion, 75 accuracy, 30 rate of fire, 7 move speed, a 40% crit rate, and deals 150% damage on a crit. Base NTW-20 is able to equip telescopic sights, hollow sights, red dot sights, suppressors, AP ammo, microchips, rangefinders, and capes. The recommended equipment for base NTW-20 is a 5-star scope, 5-star special sniper ammo, and 5-star cape. A 5-star rangefinder can be recommended if you want her interdiction shot to start a bit quicker. This gives her plus 10 damage, minus 3 move speed, plus 48% crit rate, plus 25% crit damage, and plus 120 armor pen. This brings her stats to 175 damage, 4 move speed, 88% crit rate, 175% crit damage, and 135 armor pen. Her skill now does 595 to 1400 damage without crits, and 1041 to 2450 with. To fully mod NTW-20, she will need 3,800 menfrags, 150 cores, and 10 fire control components. This takes roughly 5 months to get the required components, as you can only get 2 FCCs per month from the black market, if you don't pay for the battle pass, and her rarity goes to 6 stars when modded. In her mod art, drawn by the same artist, NTW-20 now wears a black leotard underneath a black jacket that has straps hanging down, a 20 on one of the straps, different belts with pouches hanging off of them, a thigh guard on her lower right thigh, a holster or thigh magazine pouch on her left thigh, a black glove with 2 straps on her left arm, her right arm seems to be fully mechanical, black lace-up military boots, 2 hairpins, and a ragged camo cloak. She holds her NTW-20 with her mechanical right hand near the base of its barrel. When fully modded, NTW-20 gains an extra tile, with her tiles now reducing the skill cooldown of HGs by 20%, which is quite good. She now has 95 HP per link for a total of 475, deals 170 damage, has 31 evasion, 82 accuracy, and 32 rate of fire. Her first skill is now changed to Hunter's Mania. Hunter's Mania is basically interdiction shot with a few more added bonuses. Hunter's Mania begins charging after the skill cooldown ends, gaining 1 stack per second to a max of 7. When procced, she aims for 1.5 seconds, prioritizing the enemy with the highest HP that can be one-shot. If there's no enemies that can be insta-killed, she prioritizes the enemy with the highest HP. After aiming, she deals 5 to 10 times damage that ignores HP shields based on the number of stacks. All stacks are used on use, and this skill has a 7-second ICD and 9-second NCD. Without crits or equips, she now does 850 to 1700 damage. Without equips but with crits, she does 1275 to 2550 damage. At level 10, NTW-20's second skill, Chain Reaction, has 2 passives. The first, when Hunter's Mania kills an enemy, it procs again and gains 3 stacks, being able to be activated up to 3 times. The additional skill uses have 0 aiming time and doesn't gain bonus damage from charge stacks, instead dealing 4 times damage that can't miss. It prioritizes enemies that can be insta-killed and have the lowest HP. The second increases the damage of normal attacks and skills by 10% when attacking enemies with more than 50% HP. The spec that NTW-20 gains from reaching Mod 3 is the 20mm HEI, HEI being the acronym for High Explosive Incendiary. At max calibration and enhancement, it gives plus 180 armor pen and plus 10 damage. The recommended equipment for modded NTW-20 is a 5-star scope, the 20mm HEI rounds, and a 5-star cape. You can also use a 5-star rangefinder if you want the first skill to proc a bit sooner, but it's not really recommended. This gives her plus 10 damage, minus 3 move speed, plus 48% crit rate, plus 25% crit damage, and plus 180 armor pen. This brings her stats to 180 damage, 4 move speed, 88% crit rate, 175% crit damage, and 195 armor pen. Her first skill now does 900 to 1800 damage without crits, and 1575 to 3150 with crits. Realistically, if you're going to be using NTW-20 whatsoever, you'll be using her modded form instead of her base form. NTW-20, regardless of mod or not, does an absurdly high amount of damage, being the most damaging T-Doll in the game at a staggering 165 base damage, with that damage being further multiplied with equipment and by her skill by either 3.4 to 8 times damage base or 5 to 10 times with her mod. However, this does come at a cost. Out of all the RFT dolls, she places 4th, just above Mosinagant, PTRD, and RT20 for rate of fire. Her first skill has a very long ICD and NCD, at 8 seconds and 9 seconds respectively, not to mention the 7-second charge time and 1.5 second aim time. There's also the fact that she's a bamboo rifle, which means she has niche usage. But, when modded, NTW-20 has her bamboo skill reworked, dealing much more damage than before, as well as having a slightly lower ICD and NCD and a small rate of fire increase, which can still be compensated by her massive damage. And she still has the biggest damage stat of them all. But her rate of fire is still abysmal, and her niche has changed to fighting against striders and enemies with a ton of HP shields. And she's a 5-star T-Doll with a mod, meaning you'll have to accumulate a ton of memfrags, a ton of dummy cores, and a ton of FCCs just to fully mod her. Not to mention the competition from other 6-star T-Dolls that perform much better and have more general uses than her, such as AK-15, G11, and Calico. Overall, she's not a bad RF to have on the team, and works good against, as I mentioned before, enemies with massive HP shields and annoying enemies like Striders. Overall, she's not a bad RF to have on a team, but I only recommend getting her to maybe mod 2. She's like middle-low priority for getting her to that, definitely middle-low priority for raising and getting her to mod 3. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter for updates. I also stream, and please check out my other Arknights and Azure Lane videos as well.